Hey everybody, welcome back. So, over the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've managed to, the days that I've had good weather, hit my local flea market where I usually shop for my eBay store and some of these Tool Safari videos, or at least one that's out there for right now. I've been able to find some vendors who are letting go of some really cool things. Three Craftsman vintage toolboxes and one offshoot box. I don't even really think it's a name brand box. It might just be a metal box that somebody put tools in, but I got a regular 2 drawer, like the silver, the steel colored box. It's probably vintage 60s or 70s. I got a really nice rally toolbox, the 3 drawer rally toolbox, the black with the textured finish. I can't even believe I'm looking at it right over here. And the only reason I really picked it up is because it was my favorite box. I own one. I still have my original from like 25 years ago. So that box I will probably keep. And then I got one that looks kind of like a roofer's box. It kind of opens, it's that beveled box. That one just has a latch on it, no tumbler. But the other two with the drawers, you could probably buy, well, not probably, I know you can buy the replacement tumblers for with keys. I may do it for the rally box because I may keep that. The other box I'm probably just going to do a restoration on, as well as the roofer's box. That's what it kind of looks like, plumber's box, roofer's box. It's got that angle thing going on. So all of the boxes, with the exception of one, were full of tools. The offshoot box, the no-name brand box, was full of Craftsman stuff. And in that box was this 3/8 ratchet. This is a V series, model number 43785, and it is locked up tighter than Fort Knox. It is not moving anywhere. You can barely push the lever. And I'm afraid to push the lever any more than I already have. However, what I did was I went out to eBay and picked up one of the Craftsman ratchet repair kits. This one is catalog number 44782. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that or not. But this 3/8 drive quick release kit will service models 43785, which I'm holding, 43784, 42791 Flex, and 42793 Flex. So there's parts in here to service 4 different ratchets. I don't think you could service 4 separate ratchets. There's not enough parts in here to do so. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this camera around. We're going to get this bad boy open and hopefully cross our fingers that it's not too hosed up. And then we're going to use this kit and get her back into service. So let me turn this camera around. I'll be right back. All right, so we've got our snap ring pliers. These are just one of those little cheapo brands with the interchangeable heads. And we've got our ratchet. I dumped out everything from the kit. This even includes this little tool to depress your ball bearing in, which is pretty cool. So you don't even have to make one. I'm not sure about my last statement though, if you can service more than one ratchet. Maybe it depends on the parts that you use. It even comes with another ball bearing and 2 different springs. So it's kind of cool. You get a little bang for your buck, right? So we are going to leave these parts here. Hopefully we don't screw it up. And we're going to take our snap ring pliers. We're going to get this front half off first, as long as I can see what I'm doing here. And so we're going to have to move this over a little bit. Let's see. Let's get that ring towards the center. I may have to change heads on this. We'll see. Maybe I won't. All right. So she's definitely been used. There's some wear in there for sure. Doesn't look like there's any broken teeth. But our quick release is a little sticky. You can see our ball bearing is not moving. So clean this up a little bit. Wash this up in a little acetone or something. I'm not seeing anything inside that would lead me to believe that maybe the pawl is what's screwed up. But that's another little retaining ring on here for that. Hopefully I don't lose my ball bearing, but if I do, I have one. So we're going to try and get this apart and get this off. Ooh, almost had it. Ooh, almost had it again. It's probably gacked up for sure with a bunch of stuff in there that's just causing this to be a little bit of a binding inside. Wow, that is really stiff still. So that leads me to believe that ball bearing and detent in there is probably what the cause is. And we're going to find out, that's for sure. Let's see if that's going to help. I think I'm going to need a little bit of an assistant here. So let me see if I can get a small screwdriver, a flathead, and my little micro screwdrivers to get under there and help me out here. There we go. So yeah, look at that. That thing's cooked up pretty good. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen one that bad. So let me get a pair of micro needle nose to get that pawl out. Let's try these angled ones first. Get some on each side and do a little wiggle job. There's our ball bearing. She's all gacked up too. She's definitely seen better days. So maybe we'll just replace that because it looks like there's a little bit of rust and looks like somebody chewed on it a little bit. So we'll use our ball bearing. Let's get this spring out of here and compare it to the other spring that I'll just replace the spring too. So this is the old spring. And this is the replacement. So that's what we're gonna look for here. I'm gonna get these in some, I don't know, maybe some brake cleaner or something. Clean this up. Get a couple Q-tips in there. I'm gonna get my fancy red grease, my marine grease out. It does come with some lubricant or lubricant, but I don't use any. I would never use this. It looks like it's been sitting on a shelf for 30 years, but who knows? So let me turn this camera off. Let me get my grease. Let me get a little tub to wash these out. I'm going to wash them out off camera. You guys don't need to see that. So I'll clean them up, and then we'll come back with some reassembly, and I'll be right back. So I figured I'd show you what's going on here. I first put these in a little jar of Evapo Rust. I took all the parts, threw them in there, stuck the head and submerged it in here like that. And then I took a little tray of just some paint thinner, just to keep things wet and moving around, and a little brass scrubby brush. And just scrubbing this. So I let them soak for about maybe 10 minutes. In the Evapo Rust, because there was a little rust showing, and then the paint thinner will get rid of all the hardened grease and muck and crud that was stuck in here. You can see this looks markedly better than what we started with. What I may do, because I can still see some things in there, is I may get one of my cone-shaped brass brushes, stick it on my drill press, and then plunge that wire brush in here and get some of that debris and stuff out of there. So I'll let the other parts continue to soak. Again, there were no broken teeth or anything. The pawl lever that came with this kit is not the same lever used on this Ratchet. The pawl looks to be the same. However, it's not. The pawl that's in here is for this lever. This is the slotted lever. My pawl has an indentation in it that matches an indentation on the lever itself. So these wouldn't actually work unless you replace both, which you could. This is a switch lever for a different head, which would be one of the other three models. This quick release also isn't the same. The quick release that came with the original that's in here, when you push the button, there's actually a little plunger that comes out of the end. So you could just replace all of it I don't think the parts are really that bad other than the ball bearing. I may even use the original spring again and then just hold on to this for, another ratchet. So we'll see what happens. Let me go and swirl these around a little bit more. I'm going to put this in the drill press with the brass brush and see how much more I can clean it up. I'll be back. So I figured rather than go over to the drill press, move the camera if I was going to show that. I'm already set up here. So all I did was I put the little wire wheel on the end of my drill. And all I'm going to do, because it fits right in, is just give it a couple of squeezes and start moving some of that debris around. And hopefully we get this cleaned up. So let's give it a shot. And you can see all the little cruddy bits have been displaced. And we're going to keep going in the front side. Let's put a little bit of that paint thinner on there. Oops, looks like our bit got loose. It's looking better, looking better. Yeah, let's give this a little swish. Get my little microfiber towel. And you can see we've removed quite a bit of that nasty stuff that was in there. So she's looking pretty good. And maybe I'll get a pick down in the... I'll get a little pick down in there where the spring and the ball bearing go. See if there's any junk down in there. See if I can clean that up a little better. And then we'll just keep on going here. Again, I don't think the parts are that bad. I think something else was hosing it up because I didn't see anything broken or worn down. I think it was just dry and just needed a little service. So looks like I got myself a repair kit that I can use for other ratchets because I'm sure other ratchets are going to come along. So let me go and continue cleaning up the rest of the parts, and then we'll get back to putting this bad boy back together. Alright, so I did a little dry fit with everything first, and I'm pretty much convinced that the spring and the ball bearing were the cause of this whole mess. So, I'm going to put the original spring back in, and if you've seen other videos like this, this little tool right here helps you depress your ball bearing. There's a little groove right in there, and if I can do this with my glove on, the ball bearing sits right in that little track. See? And it will roll back and forth, and it won't flow over the edge. Now what that does is it helps you pull back. Once you get the ball bearing and spring in, the ball bearing rides on that groove. You can pull this back, put the tension on, so you can put your pawl in. Like so. And then you can release. And everything is right with the world. So, I have not done this in ages, but I got myself a little acid brush, some of my super red marine grease. This is the, actually it's not marine grease, but most folks in the marine world swear by this stuff. This is Lucas Oil Products Red and Tacky Grease. Anti-seize for maximum protection. So I guess because of, being in marine, things are wet and damp. This is like one of their choices. So we're just going to put a little bit of grease on the tip of the spring where the ball bearing is going to go. We want to make it tacky. so the ball bearing doesn't flutter all over the place. Just get a little glob on there. And with a tweezer, we're just going to grab a small piece of the spring. We're going to set it down, make sure it gets seated a little bit. And then we're going to get a little grease on the end of our tweezer, so that gets a little tacky, a little tacked up. Something that the ball bearing will stick to. You can see it will stick. Oops. It won't. Oops. Oh, no, no, no. Let's get a little more grease on there. Not enough grease on the tweezer. Let's get some on there. And now you can see our ball bearing. It's a little something to stick to. We'll just place it in there. Kind of like you're making an ice cream cone. Okay, and then now, I make sure I do this right. The pawl has to go. So here's your pawl. Here's your lever. You can see they have to fit together this way. So your lever would face down. So your pawl has to go in that way. Your little bat wings are going to go up. Actually, looks like Batman. So let's take this little tool and pull back. I've seen guys do this in a plastic bag so they don't shoot their spring all over the place. I'm hoping to avoid that at all costs. Uh-oh. Nope, I don't think it's going to go. I don't think it's going to go. Let's try that again. There we go. And then you just place your pawl in. It's just like playing that game Operation. And now you release, and you can see maybe your ball bearing has popped back up into place. So what that does when I put my lever on, it's a much smoother operation than it was before. And you can see our pawl moving inside. So what we'll do while we are here, so we'll get our pliers. We'll take this off. We'll get our ring. Actually, before I do that, got a little ahead of myself here. Before I do that, let's put a little grease in here. And now we'll take our, if I can find my ring, and it's attached to my lever. I'm going to take my ring, snap it around my lever. And let's see if we can do this. I haven't done one of these in quite a while, so I forget what really the right way is. This might be the right approach. Get our ring around, get some tension on it so it's in the groove. And did I get it? Did I get it? Nope, didn't get it. Son of a gun. But I think I might be able to squeeze this tight. Let's see. Okay. So our ring is in, our lever is functioning again. And before we go and really assemble everything, let's just do a test and see. Let's get our gear in. Why are you fighting me? There we go. And let's see. There you go. Reverse. So she's functioning again. And now what we're going to do, it's a little noisy, but we'll get some grease in. And where's my brush? Here's my brush. I'm going to apply this liberally because this was so dried out and beat up. Apply that liberally inside the case. So we get a nice coating inside. And then we'll get a little coating on our ear. Ooh, that was a little too much. We don't want that much. Get this coated up. So she's all nice and juicy now. Get that seated in there. See, she quieted down quite a bit. Okay, and now we got to get this bad boy on. So another good thing to remember when you're doing work like this and reservice or servicing these, the track or the little slot where your rings go, these collect a lot of crud. So as you're scrubbing, make sure you get this pretty cleaned up. Make sure it's reassembly a lot easier if there's no debris in there, something that's preventing you from snapping your ring back in. So let's try this. Let's see. You can do the same thing as we did on the lever side. You know, it helps when your eyeballs are really working better too. So there's that. There's that. And there's that. Bang. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So let me get a 3/8 socket. Wow, she's nice and smooth. Smooth A. Gotta love that. And no, there is no give. You know, there's no play. So the teeth were good. The detent for the quick release is working a little bit better. I'm going to get like some, I don't know, maybe some just WD-40 in there. But it's still working properly. You can see that. So there you have it. We'll finish cleaning that up a little bit. And we'll add this to our vintage. Wow, that really sounds good now. Sorry, I had to put it near the microphone so you could hear it better. But nice and smooth. I'm a fan. So, like I said, I'll get a little WD-40 down in here. And we're going to call this one good. And there you have it. The Craftsman 43785 3/8 quick release ratchet, all ready to go back into service. And I'm loving life because, you know, I'm a Craftsman fan. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for, you know, the likes, the shares, the subscribes, and the comments. I hope everybody's doing well. And I will see you in the next video.